Tier 5 of Porsche 919 Hybrid Evo Championship. This is as far as you can go with racing dollar upgrades alone. So at this point, obviously you're in it to win it. So this is where we dump quite a few gold in upgrades to this car. So let's do that. So right now, 115.9 first tier racing dollars alone, but this is the end of the road more or less. So here we go, engine 115 gold, and we'll get on with the racing dollar upgrades following, since it's gonna take some 36 hours. So alright, and drivetrain 105 gold, yikes. And yeah, racing dollars, look at that, that's not that expensive in comparison, right? But yeah, as I said, 36-hour wait is a killer if you're trying to get it done right away. But you know how I play, I'm just gonna let the timer run, that's fine. 85 gold for body upgrades, and then of course another 36-hour racing dollar upgrade for body. Now the suspension, 95 gold, and yeah, that racing dollars. Okay, exhaust, another 95 probably, yep, right, because the exhaust and suspension almost always cost the same, with exhaust sometimes costing just a tad bit less. Alright, brakes, 75, so even brakes, you know, it's not cheap. So top premium car that we got here, and they're definitely having you pay for the top premium price. So if you're getting this car, don't think of it as an investment to get something back out in terms of in-game resources. Think of it as you're buying it because you want to do this and you're gonna get a lot of fun out of this. So, you know, we're dealing with then kind of an impossible task of how do you quantify the fun of racing this car in in-game currency, right? So okay, so with the second tier upgrades done, now PR is up to 121.4. So let's do this. 262 and change is the target on this speed snap. I'd hope with the 14 upgrades on board that we should be able to tackle this challenge without too much struggle. Alright, but you never know. I always seem to figure out a way of messing things up. 262. Oh, this is gonna be close. Fourth place. Alright, so at least it's within the range of, I guess, bot training. Alright, so the range goes from 262.32 kph all the way down to 249.40. So that is what? About 13 kph range, which isn't terribly large. Let's give it another go. Now it's down to 261 and change. I think it was 261.7. Yeah, I don't think we can quite hit it with the car in critical condition. So suppose this ends up being a little bit of bot training, or maybe it is going to be the bot training. Now it's down to 261 and 18 is going to be the next top, so you know what, I might just take my time on this one and not try to finish in top 3. And in order to do that, what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to see, yeah, there's not a chance, not even for this car, you cannot go flat out. Alright, so just under 230 for whatever that was. But of course the goal of that was to get rid of that mint crystal, 261 and change, and try to get Weaver, Tisha, Francione, is that how you would say that? Alright, so down at the bottom we still have some different numbers. So we got enough that we can train. So maybe we'll do a couple more here. Yeah, I dare you. Beat that 0.9 kph. I'm pretty sure I was skidding faster than that speed, but it thinks that I was traveling faster or slower. By the way, here's something else. Utterly useless trivia about Speed Snap event. And that trivia is, if you finish in reverse, doesn't matter how fast you go, you will always get the last place regardless of your speed. So that would mean this should not necessarily be called Speed Snap, it should be called Velocity Snap. I know, getting technical, right? Of course, this car, reverse power isn't quite there, like those Formula E cars. You know, those guys, of course, go just as fast in reverse as they do go forward because they don't have, you know, the gear. It's just motor spinning backwards, right? Anyway. Here we go. Alright. Couldn't quite clear the finish line there. I know, not really showing you how to win. Or maybe I am. Do we have... So now you can see how at the bottom of the grid, you're seeing the same target speed. So as you lose constantly, you're going to start seeing those same numbers stack up more, right? So depending on the event, sometimes that varies. I think now there are 3 of them stacked for this grid. So here, I'll just, you know, yeah, let's use this as a bot training video. All right. And what do we get? Let's see, that was 253 at the top. And then we got 3 at the bottom, same score, 249.4, right? So next one we should have half the grid, 4. at 249.40, and the top should be now Brozig or Brazig 251.21. Yep, so there we go. So this is the process of bot training in case anybody is uncertain about it. And these speed snaps are great for achieving this just because they're such a quick event. You know, takes seconds to run through each run. And no, the goal isn't to accumulate racing dollars or fame points. Finishing these events dead last, does not really earn you any. So that's not the point. The point is, so now we got Moises Gabby, Rosamund Mahula, Tisha Francioni, and Gerald Omo, all at the same 249.40 kph, right? So now if we keep up with this, we should be getting the same score with, 3 more or 2 more trial. We should have everybody at the bottom, right? So this try, let's see, it's a good spot to see if we can find a good launch point. What if we start somewhere here and go flat out? But obviously that's not enough, so we have to pull back a little bit further. I'm trying to see at what point can you hit exactly the target, or as close as we can hit the target, which was, what was the number again? 249.40, right? So let's give it another go. Now there should be only one bot that is, 249.8 is the first place. So what if we start right at the end of this rumble strip on the right? So give ourselves just a little bit more space to run. So still not enough, so we know we can pull back a little bit further to gain about 10 kph more. A little bit more than that. But more important thing to note here, if you're on a mission to train bots, is that there is a limit. So 249.40 is the slowest that the game's gonna give you. So no matter how many more times you try after the next run, it's not gonna change. So if you still cannot beat the speed, I certainly hope you can. But for some reason, depending on the event, sometimes it's not possible on the venue of the event, like Mount Panorama or Daytona. Occasionally they have these speed snap. Even the slowest bot speed is more than what you can do running with minimal upgrades and unserviced car. So in those occasions, you just have to bite the bullet and put more upgrades on your car, or service it, for crying out loud, right? Anyway, what if we start right around this corner, right? So there we go. I think they should allow it. This car's gonna get 10 more kph for that extra distance, no? No, okay, so we have to pull back a little bit further. Fair enough, but we're getting closer. And considering this car's grip and handling, I think this is not necessarily gonna be a difficult task. I'm just being a stickler about staying close as possible to the target speed, since if you're not doing that, that kind of defeats the whole purpose of doing this bot training. Alright, so we need what? 6 more kph? How about if we start back here on the other side? A little bit further back, a little more tarmac to run. we got pretty darn close, so we can hold back just a few inches back, and I think that'll do it. So I suppose I could have worked on this launch point, if you will, discovery, a little bit earlier on, but that's a-okay. Alright, so we'll start maybe a couple of blocks further back here, right? And considering this car's grip, we all know this car can go flat out. And there we go. I think that was enough, right? Right on. So if you're in the business of bot training, here's your guide. Obviously it didn't have to take as long as it did for me here, but you get the idea. 0.64 kph above the dead slowest target, and that's the way you want to do it if you're gonna be doing bot training. And I'm hoping that allows me to run the remainder of the events with unserviced car. We shall see. So, but that does it for this video. A quick, well, depending on your reference of what's considered quick, a bot training guide. Alright, so we'll see you in, I guess we'll do head-to-head next. Alright, so see you then.